Welcome to the perpetual show. Where the loaves go, we've got flow. Oh yeah. Driving through the fields of green, oh so bright. With the loaf by your side, everything feels right. Loafing through the fields, feeling so alive. In our boxy Russian van, we're taking our stride. Past the fallen soldiers, a bittersweet sight. But we're cruising on this road tonight. Bouncing to the rhythm, calypso in our soul. The loaf's engine purring as our story unfolds. We're singing and we're dancing, the sun shining above. The loaf takes us places where we find love. Loafing through the fields, feeling so alive. In our boxy Russian van, we're taking our stride. Past the fallen soldiers, a bittersweet sight. But we're cruising on this road tonight. Bouncing to the rhythm, calypso in our soul. The love's engine purring as our story unfolds. We're singing and we're dancing, the sun shining above. The loaf takes us places where we find love.
Hello, everybody. We're here. We're live. For one. I'm not sure. Okay, so it's actually good that that Exit hasn't actually talked yet because you couldn't hear her. She didn't say anything, so you didn't miss anything, but you couldn't hear her. But now you can, even though she's still not saying anything.
Can they hear me now?
Yes. Yes. Okay. So
Very exciting.
Yesterday was a day. Let me tell you something about yesterday. There was a lot of work yesterday. It was stupid. There was so much. It was the biggest day of the entire war in terms of our work. There were 244 videos total and 853 video clips between all of those 244 videos. So it's like 4 per video or whatever. And we all almost died. But we made it. We made it, and here we are.
Personally, I'm super glad you didn't die. Good job. Excellent work.
It was hard, but we did it. It was especially bad because I worked 3 days straight prior to that, and yesterday I was like incapable of functioning, so it was mostly Kick doing everything. Oh, poor Kick.
It's a good thing that GIC is amazing, because otherwise...
Yeah. Yeah, I like could not function yesterday. I did like a lot of like admin work behind the scenes, like updating the servers and like fixing a whole bunch of stuff, and I made a new database and I did a bunch of like stuff. I didn't do any of the mapping part really until like I went to sleep at like 8 o'clock or something, and I woke up at like 2 a.m. and then I worked from like 2 a.m. to like 7 to finish updating the map.
You posted a lot of statistics yesterday.
Yep. That was me testing my database as I was building it. Most of those statistics were probably wrong because I realized afterwards that I forgot to include 2 months of data in the data. So, but whatever, it's fine. Those were all test statistics.
Excellent.
But anyways, is there any boat news you'd like to talk about? Because there is one boat news I'd like to talk about.
I guess all I would really say about boat news is that the stuff we heard about over the weekend of Attackams taking out a boat at Sevastopol, there is various reports about which boat it was, or if it was two boats, or like what. And MT Anderson put up some satellite imagery today, which is the only satellite imagery I've actually seen of the area come up. And it was inconclusive, I think would be the best way to describe it. It looks like maybe there is a partially sunken ship, but it's not specifically clear that that's exactly what's happening. It's not high-res imagery, and my understanding is that they don't have access to that yet. So I would say there's probably boat news. We don't know factually what it is yet. And until we actually have some more proof and somebody posts some high-res sat imagery, I'm not prepared to say that there's anything specific, because there's way too many different stories about it. Oh yeah, up there, Russia is some kind of wild, man. I like how you're like just cueing me by waving around. Russia today decided that they would just unilaterally take over portions of water that are not theirs without discussion. They have decided that part of the Helsinki Accord just is null and void from now on, and they're not really going to abide by it. And to be fair, I believe this has not actually been voted on yet, was the most detailed report that I saw of it. But yeah, they essentially have said that they're going to take over water up over around Kaliningrad and claim it as theirs. It is currently, I believe it's Estonia and Latvia's water. My apologies for the drinking dog in the background. But yeah, they've just decided they're going to take it, which is, or is Estonia and Finland maybe?
I thought it was Finland and Lithuania.
Think, man, you might be right. Give me a second. I'm like equally sleep deprived to Andrew today.
I know it's Finland, but I think it was also Lithuania, because I remember it being weird. It was like, why Lithuania? What'd they do? Like, why not Estonia?
Well, actually, so I have thoughts on that. And this is completely conjecture. But the Lithuanian foreign minister is kind of a badass. Like, as politicians go, I would nearly move there just for him because he's so cool. And if there's anybody that's pissed off Russia to try and like that Russia might try and escalate against them, it might be him, because he's also the one who traveled to Georgia after the vote there and like met with the protesters and did a speech in front of them. He is very vocal about like, why are we letting Russia do this? This is absolutely ridiculous. Calling for more backup from the West, all kinds of other things. I will go retweet one of his things right now, and that way people will see his information. But yeah, he's totally a badass. And if there was anybody that Russia was going to be pissed off at, he'd be really high on the list. Totally conjecture. Can't actually prove any of that, but it would make sense to me. Anyways, there'll be a legal challenge about that, surely, because like it's international law. It's not just their law. If they actually pass the law and if they actually decide to try and go through with this, it could just be a bunch of BS.
What would it even do?
I am not confident enough to say specifically what it would do. I think like people transit through other countries' water all the time. So that it's not like they would be disallowing people from transiting through their water. Like
This is why. It's Kaliningrad. That's why Lithuania.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about Kaliningrad. I was just thinking about St. Petersburg.
Yeah, no, it's all about Kaliningrad. I if I had to guess, it would probably be about being able to run specifically more security operations in that water to protect Kaliningrad. But I'm not entirely educated enough to be really sure on saying that before. Like with any total confidence, I would need to ask some higher ranking people than me a few
So,
questions before I would swear to that.
so I have a question. Does guarding every inch of NATO land include the territorial waters or what?
Gosh, that's a great question, isn't it?
It apparently doesn't apply to the airspace, so I'm just
It
curious if it
doesn't apply
applies
to
to
the
water.
airspace. It doesn't really seem to apply to like the water of Romania specifically. They've been specifically not protecting that. So I'm going to go with based on current operating plans. It doesn't really seem like there is a lot of protecting. I mean, I guess they are doing mine clearance in Romanian waters in the Black Sea because Romanian ships keep getting hit with mines. So that's a thing. But I don't know that you would call that protection per se. I would argue you could do more.
Yep. Okay. Thank you, Teet. So I'm gonna get into the other news because I kind of want to get through this really quickly and finish updating my map because there's a lot more work to do tonight, and I kind of want to go to sleep at some point.
Is that the boat news you were talking about, or was there anything?
Yes, that was the boat news.
Okay.
There was another boat thing, but I honestly don't even care. They hit a boat with a drone. I don't care.
Did you guys actually geolocate that? Because I never.
Yes. Well.
Okay.
We didn't. We didn't. We didn't locate it or map it, but it was geolocated. I just didn't care because I'm pretty sure it's old, and it's like some like abandoned civilian boat, and I just don't care.
Yeah. I'm fairly sure it's like an old fishing trawler. I think it's inconsequential for the most part.
Yeah, I just did, and it was like obviously done in winter, so it's kind of like it's like at the point where it's like it's something that is irrelevant to the war and also old, so I just didn't care. Anyways, getting into news. I'm just gonna go kind of clockwise, even though going clockwise kind of doesn't actually make sense, but that's what we're doing. Um, so here we go. So the news in the Sumy area, Russia built up forces near Sumy, and they're calling it like the Kursk forces or whatever. They're the Kursk people, okay? So or the whatever they call it. I don't actually know where they are. All signs seem to point towards them being in this general area, just north of Sumy, and they appear to be threatening to attack Vorozhba and Bilopilia. So these two large towns that are kind of on the border, and this is sort of thing where I wouldn't be surprised if they try to attack and kind of take this kind of chunk out of Sumy. So where they would be mostly attacking from is from this town of Tyotkino or whatever it's called. Anyway, so they'd be attacking from here, and in response, Ukraine has been shelling this whole kind of area here pretty regularly. So the number of troops here is apparently around 15,000, which is not that many. The number of troops that Russia used to attack Kharkiv, this northern attack on Kharkiv, was around 50,000 total to begin with, and they've been adding troops to that ever since. So 15,000 is a much smaller number, and I honestly think attacking Sumy would be harder than attacking Kharkiv. So I think they would actually probably need more than 50,000 to have any sort of major success here, especially because these two towns are relatively large. These are on the large side. These are kind of like the size of like Lipsy, um, as opposed to all those little tiny towns that Russia captured in Kharkiv really quickly. These are pretty big. All these little tiny things are like nothing. Like they're so tiny, but these are pretty big. The one thing to note is that like all of the defensive lines are behind these towns. So Ukraine kind of has a defensive line here that kind of goes kind of like in a swooshy here. It's like a swoosh like this, and it's notably behind these two towns, although also simultaneously within the towns. So like their defenses are like here and like there and like over here, and that's not a secret. You can go look at it on Google Earth, basically. But anyways, so anyway, their defenses are more or less behind the towns. But anyways, there's about 15,000 people here, and it's important to note that Russia is not withdrawing troops from these 15,000 to reinforce the Kharkiv attack. Instead, Russia is withdrawing troops from the Kupyansk area and kind of pulling them around and reinforcing. So um, these forces near Sumy are remaining relatively constant over time. So that's one thing to say. Moving on to the Kharkiv area. Um, like I said, they're reinforcing these attacks from the Kupyansk area. They are trying to capture Vovchansk. Apparently, their goal is to capture it like within 2 days or whatever, and that obviously has completely failed because it's been well like 2.5 weeks or whatever since they started attacking, and they have not captured it yet. They haven't even really captured half of it yet. So they did get into the town, into the city. They got into the hospital area. They were apparently gathering forces within the hospital. That's kind of how the story goes. And then Ukraine kind of famously bombed the hospital and kind of leveled it, or at least leveled like half of it. Um, Unfortunately, at roughly that same time period, a Ukrainian plane was shot down and the pilot was killed. And there's a lot of people seem to think that pilot is the one who bombed the hospital. Although I don't know if there's any actual evidence of that, but that's something that's people have been talking about like pretty openly. And by people, I mean like the Ukrainian people in the Ukrainian military, not the Air Force. I don't think so, but other people, yes. Um, so we know that Russia has kind of pushed along this kind of eastern part of the city, and they've been seen looting this area over here. They also kind of pushed down to this hospital, so they're kind of pincering both sides of the city simultaneously. They're trying to wrap around to the east, and apparently they're starting to prepare, if not begin, attacks on these much smaller towns to the east, moving towards Vovchansky Shutori. So that's all kind of the thing going on here. So, but more or less, Vovchansk is stable for the most part. Um, Russia's also been going into Storitsia, where they've tried to capture the town, but they have not been able to. Um, this town that I don't actually remember how to say, Bruvatka, whatever. I can't say the town. So anyway, this town here, they've pretty much captured it. They captured it a while ago. They The video of the assault here is actually really disappointing because you see just this long train of infantry just walking up without anything harassing them or attacking them at all. Just walk, 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 walk. And they kind of walked up here. We had a video of them stealing an evil mattress right here. They stole an evil mattress and they were going to send it off to mattress prison. And they eventually captured the town. So um, um, the main focus of the Russian attack is towards Lipsy, which is right here. So I guess we could take a step back and briefly describe how this attack started. So I don't remember the dates. I think it started on the 3rd, on May 3rd, but the dates don't really matter that much, and you could probably look up the dates if you really want to. But more or less, Russia crossed the border into Pilna. They basically captured the town of Pilna without Ukraine caring, apparently. Like, they didn't, like, notice. It's kind of bizarre. Like, Ukraine, was looking in the other direction or something. I don't know. Maybe they were, like, busy that day. But Russia kind of, like, basically captured Pilna, and they started moving, like, logistics into the town, preparing to kind of, like, a thrust south. And there were Ukrainian scouts kind of seeing this happen, but Ukraine didn't really do anything to stop it, which is kind of bizarre. Even like you would understand that Ukraine would not directly attack this kind of like build up, but like why wouldn't you like attack it with drones or something? Hi, Constantine. But anyways, over the course of the next 3 days, they built up forces. They launched an attack south. They eventually captured several of these towns, including Strelica and Krasna and all these other towns that I don't even know how to pronounce. So this is kind of the situation that we have now, where there's a bit of Ukraine having pants on their head for a few days, but then the situation more or less stabilized. Unfortunately, there's a defensive position to the north of Hlyboke, whatever. Anyway, there's a defensive position that was roughly right here, and it was a pretty significant defensive position, very significant. You know, trench lines, bunker systems, etc. It was designed to be the primary anchor to the western part of this defensive line. Where is the defensive line? Primarily, it's along this highway here. So there was the line that Ukraine built is kind of to the south of this road or highway. I don't even know if it's a highway, but like if you imagine like this road right here, they basically built their defenses all to like the south of this road, but along the road. Okay, and then it kind of like, I think the last one is like around here somewhere, and then it kind of like goes up, and this was kind of like the western anchor of it all. So you could imagine the defensive line was kind of like this shape, kind of like a crescent maybe. So, but anyways, this main point pretty much instantly fell to Russian assault, and Russia then began attacking these kind of dacha areas, but they have not been able to take any sort of foothold there. So since then, this is more or less what we see. Now, kind of bizarre to me, maybe there was some reason for this, I don't know, but this kind of middle area was not defended at all by Ukraine. And we saw Russia just kind of like blitz down it and get to the outskirts of Lipsy pretty quickly. But once they got to those outskirts, they were kind of pushed back, and now it's all just kind of solidified into this kind of front line that we now see. So right here is another pretty significant defensive position for Ukraine. And to my knowledge, Russia has not been able to make any significant attack on it yet. Thank you, Aussie T. So anyway, Constantine, do you have anything to say? Okay.
I'm driving that. I'm gonna be home in 10 minutes, and now
All right.
I'll join the stream. Now I'm just listening.
Okay, that's cool. Okay, so one thing to note is that in this general area, especially south of Lipsy, Ukraine has lost a tremendous amount of material, mostly artillery pieces like Bogdanas and M777s, two S1s, two S3s, etc. So they've actually lost a lot of artillery pieces in this general area, and grads. And most of those artillery pieces were lost to Lancets. Most of those artillery systems were lost moving. So moving from one point to another. A few times, there's one artillery piece we saw. It was destroyed while it was apparently shooting on the highway, which was bizarre. There is an explanation for that, but we're not going to get into it. Then there were a few other artillery pieces. There's an M777 that was destroyed when it was being towed into a firing position. It's the truck towing it was hit by a Lancet and exploded and likely severely damaged the M777. And then there are other pieces that were destroyed that were probably moving from their hiding position to their firing position or vice versa. So a lot of these vehicles were lost in transit somehow, which is unfortunate, and it's probably something that everyone needs to learn from at the end. So that's kind of the Kharkiv area that I wanted to talk about. Yep.
One quick question. The artillery pieces that were lost, I presume that we can say that they didn't have any kind of EW defenses. Would we have seen that more likely in other areas of Ukraine, or just generally they're fairly deficient in that everywhere?
They definitely don't have enough EW. I think the reason that we're seeing a lot of Lancets here is I don't think Russia has that many Lancet operators. And I think they basically just put all their Lancet operators in one spot. I think that's kind of why we're seeing so many Lancets. That's my guess anyway.
That's a super interesting observation. Thanks.
I might be wrong, but that's just kind of my guess. I think they just put all their pilots in one spot and told them to destroy everything they can see. Like maybe not all their pilots, but like most of them. Anyways, from the Kupyansk area, like I said, they've been withdrawing forces from the Kupyansk area and moving them towards the Kharkiv area, towards Lipsy and Volchansk. But that doesn't mean that they've stopped attacking in the greater Kupyansk area, because they've advanced south from Krakmana towards Berestova, and they've basically gotten into the town at this point. They've advanced several kilometers south here. I will honestly say I don't know what this means. I honestly don't know any implications of this attack. One thing of note. Oh, the other thing is that they've been moving towards Bilohorivka as well. So they moved somewhat forward here. Some of these tree lines were all in the gray area, and some of them were lightly defended. One thing that I just found interesting is that a lot of these tree lines that Ukraine was defending near Stelmahivka, these tree lines are very far apart, very far apart. Usually tree lines in Ukraine are like 1 kilometer across and like 2 kilometers long, or half a kilometer by 1 kilometer. They're usually one of those two sizes, but this is more like 1.5 kilometers across, and that makes a pretty big difference when you're like, firing a machine gun or what have you. So it's much harder to shoot you know, 1.5 kilometers than you know, half a kilometer or whatever. So these distances, in order to really adequately defend these sorts of fields, you would want to build some sort of defensive position in the middle. But because this area has been effectively the active front line the entire time Ukraine has been here, they were never able to build those sorts of defenses. And that makes these areas a little bit harder to hold, especially these tree lines. They're especially far apart. Whereas if you see even this tree line that's just north is much closer together. So like these two kind of, you know, tree lines can kind of cover each other. Whereas these are kind of just out of range of each other. It's much harder to help each other. And then when you get even further south, like these ones are even further apart. So it's even harder to to help each other out. And in these assaults, when we saw Russia doing these assaults, and also keep in mind, this tree line and this one are like ridiculously far apart. They're like, anyways, when we saw these attacks, the video of these attacks, Ukraine was trying to shoot across these fields, but they're so far away that they're really inaccurate. You would need probably an auto cannon or, you know, some sort of vehicle to accurately fire at these distances. So and that would require having a vehicle that just happens to be in the exact right place at the right time, because you wouldn't just naturally keep vehicles out here because they would get destroyed. So anyways, that's kind of why I think this area kind of crumbled a little bit. It's really hard to hold these positions, and in some theoretical future, if Ukraine were to counterattack, I think Russia would have pretty much the same problem in defending it, unless they built fortifications between those tree lines there. So this is kind of the downside of using tree lines as your primary mode of defense. Is that if the tree lines are too far away, or if they get destroyed or whatever, then they lose their effectiveness. Yeah, a heavy machine gun can shoot that far, but can you hit things? those are two different questions. Yeah, because like a heavy machine gun could shoot like 2 kilometers, but are you gonna hit anything? I don't know. Anyways, I have notes. Let me see if I missed anything in my notes. One regarding these the kind of defenses between the tree lines. I also wanted to note that further back from the front, Ukraine has built those sorts of defenses between all the tree lines further back. It's just this front line that they couldn't do it. So if Russia were to capture these frontline towns, when they try to push forward after that, they would hit those defensive positions, which would, at least in theory, hold up better than these front lines. So that's another thing I wanted to mention. Next is Kremenna. So I don't have any particular news of the northern part of Kremenna, but we have had some weird rumors coming from Bilohorivka. Okay, so Russians have been claiming that they captured Bilohorivka. I honestly can't even comprehend why they would say that. It's so bizarre, and it's so divorced from reality that it's genuinely confusing. We've talked about Bilohorivka before, that it's in a valley. Well, there is a valley here. This kind of Russian side over here is like one side. So this is like one peak, and the Ukrainian side over here is kind of like the other peak, and kind of like down here where these roads are, this is kind of the bottom of the valley. So Ukraine has one high side and Russia has the other high side, and everything in the middle is the low ground. And where Russia is attacking right now, and where they're claiming to be taking positions, is all the low ground. And even if Russia were to capture these positions, which they have done before, they would be under intense pressure to keep these positions because driving up to them to do, troop rotations or to, drop off supplies, etc., would be very difficult. And they'd probably eventually have to withdraw, which they've done before multiple times. So they are claiming that they've captured some of these streets. I don't actually know if that's true. I haven't seen any actual evidence of that. But even if they were to capture these kind of these roads down here, it wouldn't really change the situation very much, because they would still be all the way at the bottom of this valley, getting shot down. So this here is high ground. This is a pretty big hill. This here is another hill, and this here is another hill. So if they were to be in these towns down here, they'd be getting shot from 3 different angles. We can look at this in 3D, which may help.
Hello, Andrew.
Hi. How you doing, Coach?
Yeah, sorry, I was just listening as I was driving.
So here's the 3D view of Bilohorivka. So this is kind of what I mean when they're in kind of the bottom of the valley, which is not a place you really want to be. And the vertical axis is exaggerated by 300%, so keep that in mind. But imagine being a vehicle that has to drive down one of these roads to resupply their dudes, and it wouldn't be fun. Anyway, Konstantin, how's it going?
Doing all right. Can you hear me well?
Yes.
Yeah, I wanted to show you something.
Okay.
As I was driving, you were talking about the position in Kharkiv, north of Hlyboke.
Yes.
Remember? I have a video from there that I can share so people understand. Like that was a key position. I think that this. Did anyone film? Were there any videos of that position yet?
I don't think so.
Okay, then we're gonna be first ones. It's nothing serious. Just how this position looks from like 1 kilometer away, and you can estimate its size. Give me 1 second. I'll download it and forward to you. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
And we call this thing on Telegram.
Okay.
No, that's not.
Yeah, this
Okay.
this position was you can just tell from satellite images, and I mean I don't have high res images of this. I only have the really low res, like a 10-meter resolution, and from that you could tell it was significant.
Did you just disappear?
I did
Andrew?
not. I did not disappear. I'm right here. I am waiting. Patient.
I have a high res set. I think maybe it's not high res. I don't remember. But you will see it like this. If you go to Google Maps, you actually can see that this is not a new position. So part of it was there like years ago. Like 2 years ago. I don't know if you have. What is this? This is Bilohorivka, right?
Yeah. I'm working on it. I'm doing my maneuvering here. Give me a second.
Maneuver warfare.
Okay. This is it, right? Yeah.
Yeah, you can see that it's here. And now the video I'm gonna show you is gonna be like you see the hangar to the south of it, like a couple of them.
Yeah.
Right. And the video I'm gonna show you, like, use this hangar as a reference point to where it's like it's only half, like the position is 2 times bigger now. So it stretches from the right side of the road all the way to the left side of you see the field road there to the west. Yeah. You see?
Yep. I'm currently downloading the video. It's a rather large video.
Yeah, it's 18 seconds, but it doesn't show too much, but it shows you the scale of the position. Considering the distance to it, you can really understand that it's big.
Did you say it's 18 seconds?
18 years.
Oh, is this in like 8K?
It's 4K video.
Okay. It's a large file. I'm 1/3 done.
So, like, you see right now on your Google video,
Yep.
sorry, on the Google map, you can see the road that goes like across the field, not like cutting the field from go to the right a bit. Yeah, here you see the one that cuts the field and like across, right? Not the 80 degrees, but like just cuts it. You see this road?
Yeah.
And try to find that road on the video that I've sent you.
I'm still downloading it. We're almost there. We're like half done. It's a really big file. So building suspense here. Building suspense is great. So yeah, this is yeah, there's this also this this kind of little forward position here. This was also pretty developed prior to the Russian attack. We're almost there. We're about 2/3 done now. It's speeding up though. This is great. It's like watching paint dry. I feel like I'm in like 1994 all over again. When you had to download a photograph one line at a time. It was great. Good times.
You're living in the past.
That was my childhood, Constantine.
That was what?
That was my childhood. Downloading pictures one line at a time. And it would take like
Pictures.
5 minutes.
Pictures. Right.
Okay. We got the video. Now I have to click all the buttons. We're not gonna get in like trouble, are we?
No, absolutely not. So, like, this entire thing is at the beginning. You only see this position at the beginning, zoomed in. You can see that spot, like, if you go to the beginning and pause, yeah, this is everything that is to the left of the road that was to the west on the most western part that you've shown on your map.
Yeah.
Like, you see the tree line in front of it.
Yeah.
You said that it's developed position.
Yeah.
So if you go back and you find this on the map now, on the go.
Wrong one. Okay.
Yeah, you can see that it's only like you can see that to the left of it is entire new area that is like 400 meters wide, 400 meters developed. And the area to the right, I think it's all black. It burned or something.
Yeah.
But it's like 1 kilometer wide, 800 meter wide position. That was, I don't know. I don't see any shell in there. I don't see any in the video. I don't see anything, any marks from the shell in there. So my take is that we just decided to, you can see there are no shellings here.
No, very, very little. Like very, very
Yeah,
little.
just one
And
in the middle I can
you,
see.
you can see these are like bunkers or whatever. Um, yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of underground components to this.
Yeah, and this is like on the map. This nothing of this is built. You only see the right. You see where the black ground is to
Yeah.
the right of it. This is what we see right now. This is right now when you what we see on the map. And if you hit play, you will see the road that I told you about. That yeah, just pause. Yeah, you will see the road that crosses. You see from the on the right side, it crosses to like yeah, this one. You can and note it on the map so people understand the size, how much it was scaled. You see this? You see it on the map now? Yeah, and now so this position is like 3 or 4 times bigger than it was.
Yeah.
It's unclear why we didn't fight for it.
Yep, it's unclear. That's correct.
Yeah,
It's
but
unclear.
but what's also interesting is that this spot is actually at the bottom of the elevation. In front of it is like uh 20 meter elevation hill that goes up up to that line. So I don't think it's about yeah, you see how it's positioned?
Yep.
It's not, for example, if you have some crops or some wild weed growing in front of it, your infantry will not see absolutely anything from it.
Yeah, it seems like it's more for defending to the south. Like it would defend
Yeah,
this way really well.
yeah. So the key position had to be built on the tree line in front, like inside this tree line, and it wasn't built. There are some firing positions there. There are some like what we call a secret that would people, you have them watching that, saying, okay, something isn't coming and like report it back. But this should have been like the key defense line here that would stretch back to the Hlyboke, but it's not there. Like, and if you go even further north from here, yep, you can see like near Krasne. Yeah, so near Krasne, yeah, here. So this is another spot. There is a tree line on the Krasna to the left that was developed by Russians. Actually, you see the tree line on the left. Yeah, this one. This one was developed by Russians. These are not us, as I understand it. And so we developed it on the other side as well. And this is actually an okay position. But what happened, as I understand, is that this wood, you see the small forest that is 1 by 1 kilometer to the east of it, inside Krasny itself, it had no positions in front of it. So Russians essentially entered this forest and came out right on our positions in the tree line. And this was just a terrible example of complete, lack of thought. Whoever developed and picked this position, because the key defensive line was supposed to be like ideal. If you look at it look at the elevation of that tip of that forest in the Krasne, yeah, on the tip, on the northern tip.
Yeah, it's like 210 meters.
Yeah, so everything in front of it is below, not too much, but it just lets you, see the upcoming enemy from all the sides. And the forest lets you hide your engineering equipment. And if you want to use excavators, it lets you hide your weaponry, your positions. It's a concealed way. It can conceal the positions for you. So this was supposed to would have been like our key stronghold. Unfortunately, it wasn't. I don't know why it would have been. People say, "Oh, it's so hard to build on the front lines," but it's, first of all, how can you measure the distance to the border?
I can let's do it. Let's draw a circle.
Yeah.
Like
So what's
3 kilometers or so.
we
It's
don't
like
we don't see what it tells you, so you gotta tell us. We
what?
only see the
Oh,
circle.
it's like 3. This okay. So this is a 3 kilometer circle, and this is 4 kilometers, and this is 5.
Yeah. So my point is that inside this woods, like this is a forest that allows enemy don't see what's happening inside. If you need engineering equipment, you can bring small excavators that would work there. They work half an hour, they come back in. If you fear that one getting destroyed, you get another one. It costs $15,000. Like, all right, it costs $20,000. You do this, and if not, you can have people with the shovels, but excavators can work there. And our excavators, for example, on Bakhmut axis, I know that they work 3 kilometers away from the front lines. Yes, they get destroyed from time to time, but this is war. Like there is no way, even 20 kilometers deep, you can sometimes get enemy strikes.
We saw
So
a few get destroyed today. There were
yeah,
a
so
few videos today.
if you think that you can build a position anywhere safely, no, you cannot. Like maybe in Cherkasy or something, but not anywhere like 20 kilometers in the front line. It's not safe, and this is part of the war. And that's why you gotta have plenty of excavators. They're not that expensive. You gotta have a plan for that. You have to have your ER, electronic reconnaissance, working, and looking for the drones coming in, so you can just you see the enemy drone up, you drive back your excavator into the woods, so it's safe there. Artillery is not that, there wasn't much shelling there in this area. So like we had all our chance, we had everything to build it, but so it was pure negligence by the local command, that thought that we don't need to do this. Now we're paying for this, and of course, like the infantry there was not ready. I'm not talking about like it's hard to blame individual soldiers. You gotta have the training, you gotta have the maneuvers, you gotta practice the combined arms, the command and control. It wasn't done. There were no proper exercises, and
What
that's why we lost.
what I find really bizarre, like honestly, it hurts me, is why is there no defense, like from like here to like here, like this whole sector had like no defenses.
So there are defensive position in Lukyansk. Yeah, if you go a bit to the west, I have imagery from there. It's not yeah, to the west of Lukyansk. You see this road that comes out.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have like 3 pretty big defense positions in the open fields on each of the intersections from Lukyansk. You see the road, yeah, where yeah, this is where you were, yeah,
But,
on this,
why not to the east?
I don't know, so I did not have the time actually to go through the imagery to find the positions. I think we may have had them. The problem is just just like with any positions, you gotta defend them. It's not the positions themselves. And if you don't have properly established command and control and the communications, and your infantry is not mentally ready, you did not go through the proper conditioning and training, it's gonna say, okay, good luck, we're leaving. It happened like when I was in the military, it happened many times. I've seen people just leave their positions because they were not mentally prepared. It takes like a lot of if you've been sitting there for 2 years doing nothing, you're fishing and hunting. These are beautiful places. I want to show you. You know what? I'm gonna show you some pictures from that area so you can see how like how that area looks like, if you don't mind. Yeah, this is a good one. I'm gonna send them to you in Telegram.
Okay. People are making fun of my dial-up connection, okay?
Because you're send you two pictures like how it looks.
Here's one picture.
Yeah, as you can see, like this is like a rolling hills basically area.
Yeah.
It's yeah. Go ahead.
Did we break them?
Huh?
You just stopped mid-sentence.
Yeah, I'm saying this is what I call rolling hills.
Yeah.
You know, and it's the forests here. They allow you to make so many, you know, places for the ambushes to conceal your positions, to stop, you know, infantry. So I'm honestly shocked that this has happened. I know that some of our TDF units were not taking this seriously, and they were literally not doing anything. Like, because even if you have fortified positions in the right spots, that's not enough. When enemy will come, unless you practice defense, unless you practice deployment, unless you practice the comms, unless your each unit knows what to do when it loses the you know the comms, unless you have like three positions designed. Okay, if you fail this one, you bail to this one, you defend from that one. You build your firing cards, so you know distances from wherever any enemy can come from. You have your drones hovering. Like this is super defendable spot. This is like, you know, and the forest, the tree lines, small forests, not like actual forests, obviously. They allow you to conceal and prepare pretty well. None of that was done. Like literally none of that. There was one battalion, 227th battalion, that was stationed in Zelena, and we lost communications with it. There were no connection for 3 days with it, 3 or 2 days, with the battalion that was stationed there. 227th TDF battalion of the 127th brigade. So we marked this area as lost. And then in 2 days, they came out back online and said, okay, guys, we're like, what the hell is going on? We've been fighting here for 2 days. Where all of you? And this is one of the battalions that was actually doing its work. It was practicing. It was, you know, doing the exercises. It has a good commander. And they just stood, they threw out all the, thwarted all the attacks. And this is an example, you know, how, and if you control Zelena, where is Zelena? Yep. Like this was an important area. They stopped it. They stopped enemy, and they did not let them in. And you know, so it's pretty cool. I would say the rest of the TDF forces, they just bailed.
Well, but then the Kraken showed up, right? And saved everything. Yeah.
Well, you know, Lukiancy is a problem still. Like, I don't think anyone like it's you see it's not, we don't have real positions there. So, and because Russians have no mechanized forces, almost no mechanized forces there, you know, they depend on the infantry. Infantry is kind of slow. Supplying all this way, like 5 kilometers by foot is pretty hard. So it's they're like, you know, don't have the capacity to push much further. So they need to enter Liptsi, because after Liptsi, you have like series of four or five towns that go directly into Kharkiv itself. And as experience shows, as soon as Russians are enter the town, we pretty much cannot defend. We just give up the line by line, unless it's something like Mariinka, which was example of of a different type of defense. But generally, if enemy enters the town, the losses, the infantry numbers matter a lot, and we just bail little by little. And you can see they can get up to the Kharkiv, and there is very thick woods to the left. From what you see, if you enter the woods, then it opens up a new dimension as well. And those woods, they go up to right to my home, to where I live, to where I used to live.
Yeah. So last time, I believe Russia was stopped around here, I think. Roughly.
Yeah, Tsirkuni was they had a base in Tsirkuni.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly where, but you could probably now find it. But Tsirkuni was their a big base.
From what I remember, they controlled the northern part, and the southern part was a gray area. And then Ukraine kind of like cleared out this kind of western side, and then kind of like squeezed Russia north slowly over a long period of time. Yep.
Yeah, and the problem, we cannot do this anymore. We won't be able to do this once again, unfortunately. Because first of all, they have our positions that are actually well prepared, okay, as you have shown, they're designed to defend from the other side.
Yeah.
Much better than, and this is really bad for us.
Yeah. There's a weird place to build that defense. It seemed like there were a lot of other places that made more sense. Like why not like build like here?
Yeah, there are like plenty of places that you would pick. Like Krasny was supposed, like, it's a perfect spot. Whoever was
And
saying
you have all
that
these forests too. Like you could link
you
all the
have
forests
forest
together.
and you have high ground, it's like, perfect. And whoever was saying that it's hard to build on the front line, well, this is not exactly front line, and if it's something hard, defending without trenches is much harder. So this is kind of bullshit.
Because
We built that position, which is, as you can see, 5 kilometers. What is the radius?
That was 5, roughly. It was like
5. So
that's 5.
That is well in range of Russian artillery, and well in range of Russian drones as well. But we built it, and it was huge. So
So anyways, we can move on to the next thing. Let me check my notes, because I had notes. Okay, so the next the next thing on my notes is what appears to be really bad news, to be honest. Over the weekend, Ukraine published a video where they bombed Russians right here, in this building right here, using drones. So they attacked this position with drones, and this is I actually, where is the stress on that word? Is it Bohdanivka or Bohdanivka? I don't know. Where's the stress?
Bohdanivka.
Okay, got it. Okay. Anyway, so this here is the high ground. of the town. It's the highest point, and it is kind of on this kind of like ridge here, and this high ground kind of goes all the way to the next town. I can't remember the name of the next town. Anyways, so it goes. If Russia gets this high ground, it appears that they're either there or they may have captured it. I honestly think they probably captured it. If they get this high ground, it's actually bad news. It's legitimately bad, because they are going to push up and probably capture this town over. I don't know what the time period is, but they're probably going to capture it because they'll just keep bum rushing it until they capture it, and then that will bring them up to the canal, and then at this point, Russia will be able to attack the canal over a very wide. What do you call it? Anyway, there's this wide attack that they could do. So they'll be able to attack down here near Ivaniivka. They'll be able to attack around here near Canal, and then they'll be able to attack up here in the north. And I guess in theory they could also keep pushing north and try to attack up there too. So trying to push this wide front across the canal. So that's kind of bad news. We were all kind of hoping that Ukraine would somehow hold this high ground and not let Russia do that, but it appears that Ukraine's lost the high ground. Ukraine's at least lost control of the high ground. Whether or not Russia captured it is up for debate. Beyond that, Russia did their big ol' attack on Canal, and there was kind of a multifaceted attack where the first part of the attack started up here, and kind of they kind of drove down south, kind of along this road here, and straight down into the town. They kind of rolled up into whatever this is, this little parking lot area. They dumped off whatever infantry survived the move up, and then they kind of ran away. So the vehicles they used for this attack are fascinating to me because they were using BMD-2s. So these would be VDV, right? So so this was kind of the VDV people kind of attacking right here, and it went very badly. They lost a bunch of vehicles. I think they lost 3 or 4 vehicles, and anyway, so that went badly. So the other attack, it kind of went across this. So it's kind of started here. It went across this field, and then across this this tree line here, all the way down, and then until it got here, and it turned right and went into the town that way. So that was their line of attack. So it kind of went from here down like that and over to here. This went similarly very badly. So these were the 2 major assaults on Canal, where they apparently tried to capture the town. From what I could tell, they just wanted to capture it, and I guess they thought they could maybe, and they couldn't. They took pretty substantial casualties from what I can gather. There's loads of destroyed vehicles in kind of this area here where they tried to assault this apartment building here. There's destroyed vehicles in this kind of storage area. I honestly don't know if this is like storage or whatever. And then there's a few down here as well. So and also they lost vehicles along this tree line when they were moving up. So this whole thing did not go well. The Russian response. I wish I had a text right now, but it was so funny. It was like the mildest way of putting it, to be as politically correct as possible, is it didn't go well. And I just thought that response was pretty funny. I don't know, Konstantin, what do you think? Do you have any thoughts on Chasiv Yar?
I think it's bad. I think like we're actually you know, like things are we're gonna. I'm sure we're gonna hold it, but the price is gonna increase. I think the key problem is the canal. Our key position there, if you can zoom in, you can see it here. You can see you have a little bomb in there, right? This is the defense position to the here on the left side of the canal.
Here?
Yeah, zoom in. You will. This is our. You see the position here.
Yeah.
This is one of our key defensive positions in the area, and it's a good position. It was developed a bit, but this is the only like spot that we have. Yeah, that one to the south was not developed, but it's still a good one. But the problem is that this is super defendable. Let me share the pictures from there. These are open source pictures, not sharing something that hasn't been shared before. But so people understand how this area looks like. There are if you go give me 1 second, please. Yep, this one. Give me 1 cent. This is how the canal looks like, so people understand.
Pretty little flowers.
Yeah, there is another one that I've sent you. So, like, I personally don't have much concerns that Russia can cross it. I don't think it's possible for them to cross it as soon as we destroy the bridge.
I think they destroyed the bridge.
Yeah. But because of what we're looking on the other side of the canal, we don't have much forces there because we don't want them to be cut off, right? So we have very limited infantry there. We mostly rely on drones, artillery to stop them, and we have very little infantry on that side. But what I want to show you is like the most concerning area for me. Maybe I'm wrong here, but is a bit to the south from where we're looking at right now. Can you go back to the map?
Yeah. Let me. Okay. So I'm
One
not.
second.
What am I looking for?
Yeah, can you go where it stops to being a canal and it starts being actual pipes? This canal becomes
Which side? The north side or the south side?
Here. Yeah, so this canal transforms into the pipes. So we have 2 pipes going out starting from here. So I think all those areas they're like perfectly defendable. Russians will not cross them, but this part is where the canal, like this is a pumping stations at the top that pumps the water, I think. And this is where I'm concerned that Russians can cross because, as you can see, we don't have any positions there. And there were already videos from here where that Russians have crossed it, right?
Yeah. I mean, there was never Russians visible in the video. If we're talking about the same video,
there was some drops near those pipes.
There were
right?
drone drops, yes, but we don't. Yeah, I mean, there were implied Russians.
I presume that it was not. They were not just dropping randomly.
there's a squirrel. They really didn't like this one squirrel.
Yeah, so I sent you one more picture for people if you can share it. It was taken on the western side of the canal. So like it gives you a bit of overview of how the defense would look like. Yeah, this is one, and there is another one as well. I don't know if the phone. Yeah, this one. So it's defendable. I would say like this. It has good conditions for the defenses. For the defense, I would say. Question is, do we have like properly built fortified positions that can hold? Because Russians will start bombing with artillery, with drones, with FPVs, with everything. And I'm concerned that we don't have much proper positions with the concrete, that can withstand 155 ammo for a long time, where you have to just, put some additional dirt back on top of it and some logs, and it's going to stand another artillery barrage. I don't know that, so I'm concerned, and I think this can be the area where Russians will try to advance the most. I'm not sure, but they already been there. I'm not sure if they will.
I'll tell you the first thing that comes to mind when I look at this image, and it's this would be a great place if you had mortars. It would be a really good defensible position if you had a whole bunch of mortars.
Yeah, I have friends there. My buddy, I served with him. He's there right now. Part of 225th Battalion. He's a mortar guy. So yeah, so we have some mortars. I don't know if we have ammo for mortars. Has been a big issue for a very long time for us.
And it'll never be fixed, unfortunately. It's because you just need too much ammo. It's unless Ukraine is going to build it all. I mean, Ukraine needs like over 1 million rounds a month. And they're getting like, I don't know, like 300,000 a month. It's unfortunate. That's just the way it is. There's nobody in the world that makes enough mortar ammo. Ukraine would have to do it themselves, I think. Ukraine would have to make like 800,000 rounds a month. Right now they're making like 20,000 or whatever.
Well, no, I don't think we're making 20,000. Like this is probably 4,000 to 5,000. But yeah, it's 800,000 is not a real number a month.
Yeah, well, I mean that's what Ukraine needs, though. Like it's just like their need for mortar ammo exceeds anybody's ability to manufacture it. Anyway, so the next topic is it's oh, I keep doing that. Anyway, the next topic is Klishchiivka. Today, well, I don't think it was actually today. I don't know. What do you think? Do you think this actually happened today, Konstantin, the flag?
I don't know. I haven't watched it, but I think it's probably happened a week ago.
I think so too.
Give me 1 second.
I think this happened a while ago, and the video came out today. But Russians raised their flag in Klishchiivka. In the
Was
middle.
it in the church?
It was not the church. It was across the street from the church. So this here is the church, and this is where they raised their flag.
Yeah. So yeah, this happened once. Let me. Yeah. So they come in. They like the villages. I don't know how to say it. Is it contested or is it no man's land?
Well, to me, contested no man's land are the same thing to me. But yeah, it's like nobody controls it.
So this happened around 1 week ago. I spoke with with Alexei. He was on our stream once. He's there right now. So he said that, yeah, they entered the village all the time. There are not much people in there that are left. It's undefendable at this point, I think, because the positions are simply destroyed. There is nothing left of them. There are only a couple of basements in the entire village. When Russians entered it, we essentially dropped the Baba Yaga drones on top of it, so it shouldn't be there anymore. And it happened, I think, around a week ago, because I remember him telling me this. And he shares the videos. He did not have the videos from it, but he shared one of the videos from there. I think today and before. Andrew, I think I shared one of the videos with the tank today from exactly this area.
Yep. Yeah, that tank. It kind of caught on fire, didn't it?
Yeah, did they abandon it? It was 18-minute video. I was like, mute. Just give me the gist of it.
Okay. Well, it kind of drove into town. I think it drove to right here. I think it dropped off infantry because it kind of like drove here and like parked and just kind of sat there for a little while for like 3 minutes. It just sat there doing nothing, and then it started like driving around a little bit. Then its butt kind of caught on fire, and it started like driving around, and then at the end, its butt caught even more on fire. Can I show a screenshot from it, Constantine? Because there's this one screenshot that I think is just really
You can
funny.
show the video if you want, but it's just 18 minutes.
Yeah,
You can show the video. I don't mind.
I have one screenshot that I just think is really funny. Here. I'll have you know, Constantine, only one of these objects is a tank, and I want you to tell me which one. Only
Oh,
one.
yeah, I see.
It's okay. It's perfectly
Yeah.
camouflaged. But yeah, that its butt kind of caught on fire at one point, and it,
Yeah, I look at this one as well. It's the same. It's the garage and the garage next to it.
yeah, its butt kind of caught on fire at one point, and yeah, that's what happened. I guess I can I might be able to show some of the video. I'll show because it's an incredibly long video. Here, I will skip to the end when it kind of had a warm butt back there, you know. I do enjoy how the driver was just kind of like, I don't care. The butt might be on fire, but we're going we're going full steam ahead. It's just like we're just gonna. That's normal, okay? That's part of our shed camouflage. Sheds catch on fire, you know.
Jaburi promised me. Oh, sorry, not Jaburi. So our friend
Oh boy.
promised me. Our friend promised me to edit the video.
Yeah.
And cut the good parts.
Oh boy, I've accidentally
Yeah, you broke
minimized.
your.
I've broken everything. I'm trying to fix it. I'm sorry, but this part is the best part. This is the best part. When this happened, I was just laughing. I was laughing so hard. It's the perfect camouflage, you know? Oh boy, stop. Don't do that. Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. Yeah, FC. I was watching it, and I was, wait, maybe those are two tanks.
It would be funny. It would be funny if it was the other one was secretly also a tank.
Yeah, you're thinking like, oh, this is a garage, and suddenly it starts moving.
Yeah. But anyways, the short of it is that the tank kind of drove around town. I think it fired like one or two shells at nothing apparently, because I really don't know what it was shooting at. And then this butt caught on fire and it drove away. So the things of note are that I think it dropped down infantry, and I think it would kind of be funny if it were a troop rotation, because the tank kind of sat there for a while when it dropped. When I think it was dropping off infantry, so infantry may have been climbing in, and then, which would be bad when the butt caught fire, you know. And then it kind of shot a few shells, and then it kind of just drove away. So it kind of shows that the town is empty. It's basically empty. There might be a few Russians in there, like maybe a squad. There's probably no Ukrainians in there. I imagine 0. And do you consider 5 Russians in a town the town captured? Because I don't. Anyways, so this flag I think was happened probably a while ago. Um, happened on
So, Andrew,
the
can
16th.
the tank?
Yep.
The tank it happened yesterday.
Yes, the tank was yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to say something. The guys who filmed that tank, they were asking for a tablet that I don't have right now, and unfortunately, with all the excavator that I'm trying to repair, I have a bit of problem with buying. Have problems with free cash. So if someone is interested in donating towards a tablet for them, because they have one they have one that was given to them by National Guard. It's small and it's glitchy. It's became really glitchy as of late. So if someone is interested in donating a tablet for them, I would be happy to pass.
What
They would be happy to record you a message with it.
what kind of tablet are we talking about?
Just Android, good quality, like fast and newer generation tablet that would allow them to actually don't have the video freezing when they're using it.
Okay. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see if we can get them one. That'd be fun. They're not expensive, right? Like $200 or $300 or something.
I think they're like the tablets go from 200 to like 1,000.
Okay.
And I was thinking to buy something like in the middle, $400, $300, $500, something in that range.
He asks, would a Chromebook work?
Definitely not. I have laptops. I have like 20 or 30 laptops that we're distributing right now, thanks to one of our donors in Ukraine, but it won't work for them. They need specifically the tablet.
Okay. So, yeah, I was In my notes, I was gonna link Ivanivska to Klishchiivka. In my notes, I said that Klishchiivka is more or less a no man's land where neither side wants to go in. Russia might have like a squad in there. Whether you consider that squad with its little flag to be control, it's kind of up to you. I personally don't think that is control, especially not when they have to use a tank to rotate and the tank explodes when it tries. That doesn't scream control. But anyways, Ivanivska is kind of in the same sort of realm where Russia does control a large portion of it, but also some portion of it is still a gray zone. But unlike Klishchiivka and Ivanivska, Russia controls kind of the whole area surrounding the town, except for the south, where Ukraine is kind of projecting control. I don't think Ukraine actually controls any of these tree lines. I don't know. You might disagree, Konstantin, but I don't think they actually control those tree lines, but they are projecting control and not allowing Russia to really take them. I'm curious how long this can all go for, or how stable this whole situation is. It seems that it's probably rather unstable. I have heard from multiple people that Ukraine built a bunch of supply lines that they can, various routes, and that they can bring trucks across to resupply this whole little section here. Um, I don't know. It kind of seems like the natural thing here is for Russia to push up to the canal.
Yeah, and over the canal, it's easier to control. But the issue here is that, and I think this is a good strategy. While Russians are, the ratio of losses are really good for us. And I know in Klishchiivka, it was like really good for us for the past like 2 weeks. Russians, I would say, I heard it from multiple sources. They lost like 200 people or 300 people on Klishchiivka, while we lost maybe 20 or 30, which is a lot for us. But the ratio is really good for us. That's why we're trying to hold it. And the ratio is so good, like Klishchiivka, right? It's right under the big hills that allow us to fly the drones, to have good positions. And what it also has, like we don't have much people in Klishchiivka. We don't need much people in Klishchiivka. While for Russians, they work a lot to get in and to resupply their troops. So it's basically we're holding them to make sure that they pay a big price, and they're paying for it. So I think as soon as like we see that, okay, this ratio cannot be as favorable as it was, let's pull back. I think that's the plan, and I think that's the right plan. But we have really good units there. We have units that know what they're doing. Of course, not all of them, obviously, but most of our units there are really good. They have good command and control. They know what they're doing, which lets them to hold us for such a long period of time.
I wish that would rub off on a few other brigades. All right, so moving on south. Yesterday, we had a video of a Russian attack on Novo-Alexandriivka. This Russian attack, it basically started here. It went across this field where they lost some vehicles, some T-80 BVs. They did a little assault here where their infantry dismounted the tank, and then the tank kind of ran away this way, like this. GGGH has prepared us a thing that he wanted you to see this. So here, this was the attack. They started here, like I said. they attacked this way. They dropped off infantry right at this crossroads at the edge of the town, and then the tank drove south, and then it drove east, where it got damaged. So that is this assault here. So this is rather important in that oh, remember how to fix this. Okay. It's important in that Novoalexandriivka is a pretty important defensive town at this point. This whole kind of area had more or less stabilized. Russia has been making these little tiny advances every few days, kind of. But it has more or less stabilized, especially compared to the way it was, where they were moving like 500 meters a day for a while, and now they've moved like a few hundred meters in the past week. But if they do get into this town, and it seems that they are on the verge of doing so, I doubt Ukraine will be able to hold the town once Russia's in it, and you might have to you might see Ukraine start pulling back again, in which case I'm not really sure what will happen at that point.
Are there fallback positions available there?
Not good ones. That's kind of the problem. Not good ones. Maybe they're making it better. I don't know, but there are not great positions behind Novoalexandriivka. Yeah, you do kind of eventually run into these this kind of water here. And you see like all these ponds are connected by whatever this is, like a river or whatever it is. So that's kind of a natural barrier, but that's not the threat. The threat is that Russia goes north. So taking Novoalexandriivka, and then they continue on north. So yeah. Anyway, so that's just kind of a new development that we've seen. Another development that we've seen is that first Russia kind of advanced towards Alexandropol, but that's not super interesting. It's kind of like a natural progression, and I'm not sure it was opposed very strongly. But this Russia capturing this town. I can't say the name of this town. Constantine, can you say this for me? I physically can't say it. I can't say it not Italian. And it's embarrassing. I refuse to say it. Like I can't say it not Italian. Whatever. We're just gonna pretend this town. So Russia is they basically captured the entire town, more or less all of it. There's like half a block that they haven't captured yet. But Ukraine is not in this town anymore. Ukraine has completely abandoned it. There's like half a block is basically defended by drones. Russia is now preparing for their attack on Kharkiv. Kharkiv is kind of cut in half by this water, and it's connected by this bridge. This bridge no longer exists. It was bombed, but there is a pontoon bridge right next to it, is rebuilt. So this actually wasn't a bridge; it was a dam. Russia blew up the dam. They were trying to cause like a cascading failure of dams, and it completely failed because Russians they didn't do their math or something. Anyway, so Korlivka, it's cut in half by this water. Crossing the water is a massive pain in the butt. There are crossing points. There are natural crossing points. You can see the crossing points pretty clearly on this map. And there's areas where there's obviously natural crossing points because you see a road just drive up to the water and stop. And it's like a natural fording area, basically. And if you look at the map, you can see where they are. So there are crossing points. There are bridges. I imagine all of these bridges are going to get destroyed in the very near future. And I'm not sure how Russia can cross here, like realistically. So the water is not super impressive. Like you don't see lots of like big, wide river or whatever, but this is all like horrible marshland that you can't drive through. So anyways, that's kind of what's going on. So Korlivka, in my mind, Kharlivka is the last town in the Avdiivka area. That's how I think of it anyway, because all the other Avdiivka towns are captured, except for Novelska, I guess. But Kharlivka was like the main logistics for this whole southern part of Avdiivka. And its loss will be basically the end of Avdiivka, the Battle of Avdiivka, and it'll start the Battle of whatever they're going for next, probably Krakow or whatever. Anyways, moving on south, Ukraine has too far south. Ukraine has been doing some counterattacks in Krasnohorivka, and apparently some of them were successful and some of them failed, and I have no details beyond that, so don't ask me. Around Novomykolaivka, Russia has entered Paraskovivka. They actually did this a very, very, very long time ago, like 3 weeks ago. They did it basically as soon as they captured Novomykolaivka, they entered Paraskovivka. So they've been spotted in this resort or whatever this building is. Ukraine, pretty famously, shot it with a whole bunch of Gimlers, and then Russia showed up and put just the world's saddest flag. When I saw this flag this morning, I just broke out laughing. It's just, oh man, it's just a small sad flag, but they sure did put it up, and they put it up on the Russian side of the building too. So anyways, that's kind of all the news that we've got, really. Beyond that, Russia has been attacking Staromayorsk. We have some images of there's a Russian in a fetal position getting hit by a drone. So they've been attacking the town. They've basically gotten into the town at this point. The town might be entirely a gray area. The same is more or less true for Eurochina. And moving on to Rabatina. The whole Rabatina area appears to be a gray zone, more or less. Uh, it's it's actually pretty similar to Klishchiivka. It's too dangerous for anyone to go in. Ukraine kind of controls a bit of the north, and they're just letting Russia bash their head against the wall. There was a video the other day of a Russian reconnaissance drone that filmed um, Ukrainian artillery. This video is just the description is just funny to me because they say this. Uh, So they say we present to your attention the precise work of the drone operators of Bars 11. The operators carry out fire adjustments and record the destruction and direct defeat of enemy targets. In this case, the work was carried out by our regimental artillery against groups of enemy infantry near the village of Rabatina, etc., etc. Victory will be ours, blah, blah, blah. And then the video is just it's Ukrainian cluster munitions. Anyway, that lead up to the video, because I read the text first and I turned on the video, and like 1 second into the video is DPICM. I'm like, wait a second, are you correcting fire for the DPICM? You might be using the wrong radio, buddy. But anyways. Anyway, it kind of showed that Russia had advanced in this area. I'm not sure if they captured it or if it was a temporary thing. But this whole kind of situation here in Rabatina is kind of collapsing. This area to the east of Rabatina is apparently totally quiet, and all the fighting is kind of going on in the town itself. So that's kind of all I got. That's all the news. I meant to make this a little 30-minute stream, and it's 2 hours. So, here we are.
Huh? What did you see?
My 30-minute stream is now 2 hours long. That's all I had to say. But anyways, do you have any final comments before we end the stream?
I could ask you to promote my fundraiser a bit. It usually helps.
We could do that. Your fundraiser, you have raised a lot of money. The link to the fundraiser is in the description, by the way. You've raised a lot of money, but you still have some to go, don't you?
Yeah, our goal, we fundraised around $110,000. Initially, our fundraiser was for $4,500,000, but we had to split it into two because the way PayPal works, it's really slow in delivering the money. And another fundraiser is for getting protection against Landsats for the Bohdanivka howitzers. And as you have seen, Ukraine suffered a lot of losses of Bohdanivka howitzers as of late because of the Landsats. And that's exactly what we do. We try to protect Bohdanovs against Landsats. So we had to create a separate pool, which is a private pool that goes directly that I'm transferring directly to our workshop in Kharkiv that creates those Lancet protection grids, the Lancet protection cages, and we fundraised $6,500 already there. So in total, we have around $110,000 out of initial goal of 145. And this is another fundraiser that I scaled down a bit from 145 to 130. So if you want to donate directly to the excavators, I would appreciate it. It's important. We only have $27,000 left to fundraise. And if you want to donate towards Bohdanivka howitzer protections, it's another one. You can follow me on Twitter. I have a link in my pinned tweet for it. But excavators are important as well. And for me, it doesn't really matter to which one you would donate. Because we already bought the metal that is needed to start working on the Bohdanovs. So the work is ongoing right now. We're welding the cages. Soon they will be delivered. And that's the news. That's the fundraiser that I wanted to share. Thank you, Andrew, for sharing it, and much respect to everyone who donates or shares this fundraiser on Twitter or among your friends.
I broke it again. Yeah. I'm happy with the fundraiser. I kind of wish it went faster, but what can you do? Yeah. What more else what else can you say? Like obviously the need for these things is there. We've gone over the need in multiple different ways today. We've already talked about the losses to Ukrainian artillery. They've lost a lot of artillery, especially in the Kharkiv area. We've talked about the need for defenses, and so obviously the need is there.
We do need like this small excavators. They're super important. They do help a lot. And what they also do is that they enable independence of the units. This is something that not many people talk about, but it like when you have to rely on your command to send you an excavator, your command can tell you no, they don't have the excavator available, or they can send it to you in their own time. You have your people shortages as well, so having your own for the infantry and for the artillery is super important. It does save lives. It does save expensive equipment. And I have to say that we've transferred for example, the JCB excavator. I know that unit have not lost a single crab yet to the Lancet since the moment we transferred the excavators and helped them with the protection. So of course, different units have different missions. I hope that they are not being sent 4 kilometers from their hideout, contrary to the missions that are given on the Kharkiv axis. But it does help a lot. So any donation is super helpful. Thank you.
And then the link is at least one of the links is in the description. The excavator one, I think, is there. But anyways, that's the stream, everybody. Thanks for coming. And see you next time.
See you.
Good night.